Ladies, gentlemen, welcome to a watch review. Today I'm going to be reviewing my Bremont Supermarine S2000, which I have here. This is the S2000 BK model, which means it comes with the bracelet. However, I obviously don't have it on the bracelet at the moment. I have it on a NATO, just because I generally prefer my watches on NATOs. I'm just out and about quite a lot, and it just fits my style to wear NATOs more than it does these straps. But the bracelet is quite a good bracelet. I've got some issues with it, but I'll get into that as we go along. I am not Watchfinder or Watchbox, so I'm not going to be going into a huge amount of details in terms of the technical specs of this watch. I'm just going to give you my honest thoughts and opinions on how it is to wear and just how it is to use on a daily basis. So let's start with the size. It's quite a big old watch, so it's quite tall. Again, I don't have the exact specs, but it's a pretty fat watch, and it's also quite wide. So I've got my Seamaster Professional here to compare it to. The Seamaster's a 42mm wide, I believe, and you can see the Bremont's a tiny bit wider. So if I can line them up next to each other, yeah, the Bremont sort of eats the SMP when it comes to size and depth, as you can see here as well. The Bremont is just a lot thicker than the Seamaster. Things I like about the Bremont are, I quite like the day date function. I can't do without the date. For example, if a watch doesn't have a date window, that's me out. I need that date window. I don't really need the day, but having worn this over the past couple of weeks and having the day there is just a super nice touch, so I do like that very much. My casing is quite dirty here. Let me give that a wipe. So yeah, I like having the day option there is quite nice. What else? The bezel is super satisfying. It's got quite a nice, just a nice feel and a nice detent. It's quite tough to spin actually. The knurling does help, but if you've been working out or you've got hot sweaty hands, it could slip a little bit. It doesn't really bother me that much. It slips a tiny bit. Not the biggest deal in my opinion. Also, mine has a tiny bit of play, as you can see here. It's not a huge deal. Again, I don't know if it's just my particular watch or all of them have a bit of play, as you can see. Again, it doesn't really bother me. It doesn't rattle about or anything. It's not a deal breaker, but yeah, just something to note. Again, I don't know if it's all of these. Mine's a 2016 model. What else is there to say? It's got a pretty big crown guard. It's quite a, I mean, Bremont sort of cases are quite polarizing. I think they're not your typical. They've got what's going on their triptych case construction, I believe, where it's sort of, you've got the barrel, you've got the lugs, and you've got the top. So yeah, not your standard sort of casing on a watch. It's quite polarizing. I don't know if it's for everyone. I think they look brilliant. I'm a huge fan of Bremont. I like their style. I think their cases look brilliant. The sweeping lugs are fantastic. I quite like the fact that they are on the larger side as well. I've got 7-inch wrists, give or take, and they fit me great, these Bremonts. What else? So mine came on this bracelet. I like the bracelet. It's nothing revolutionary, you know. It's not nothing compared to the Seamaster bracelet, which I don't have on hand because I've got mine on a NATO. But the Seamaster bracelet has has some cool options. So this has just got your sort of double press release clasp, nothing, you know, revolutionary. Like I said, it's pretty solidly built. It doesn't feel very flimsy. It feels quite tough, quite strong. You got your diver's extension here as well if you are going to go diving. I don't know if anyone uses these for diving, but in any case, you've got your diver's extension here. Now the main issue I have with this bracelet is it doesn't have any micro adjustments, any quick micro adjustments, I should say. So when you size this, you're basically stuck with that particular size. So yeah, not a fan. You know, your wrists change size with the temperature, and when you're wearing a bracelet, you'll find, yeah, that it'll just get a bit tight or loose depending. So not the biggest fan of the bracelet. Just to compare, the Seamaster Professional bracelet has a really brilliant micro adjust system. So yeah, what else? The lume's pretty good on this. I find that if it's been charged up, it's quite powerful, but it doesn't last very long. The bezel is lumed, so I'll probably insert a lume shot of this at some point in the video. So that's a pretty cool touch, I think. Yeah, the bezel being lumed is a super nice touch. What else can we say? They've got some really cool coating on the glass. I think it's anti-reflective and anti-scratch, and it's coated on either side of the glass. So this thing's waterproof up to 2,000 meters. Whether anyone's ever going to take it that deep, I doubt it. Do you need 2,000 meters of water resistance? You certainly don't. But you know, if you're sort of LARPing and for your kudos points, you know, there it is, you got the option. Not a big factor for me. 100 meters is more than I'd ever need, I think. You got your helium escape valve again if you're doing saturation diving, so that the glass doesn't break on the way up. You got a cool looking crown guard here to stop stuff snagging on the crown. It's pretty cool. Again, it looks pretty, what's the word, industrial? I don't know if that's a word. I mean, it's really nicely done, it's polished, but it all just looks quite meaty, quite tough. And yeah, I guess that's it, guys. I'm going to give you guys a wrist shot so that you can have a look, because I know when I'm watching these videos, I kind of want to see what it looks like on the wrist. So here we go. Here we go. So that is the Bremont Supermarine S2000 BK. I don't know what the BK stands for, but I think I've seen the BK on the bracelet models. It might, I don't know what the BK stands for, but there you go. There's your wrist shot. So you see it sits quite tall on the wrist. It's quite noticeable on camera when you're sort of going about your daily chores. It doesn't feel or look like it pops out as much as it does right now, because obviously I'm focusing on that height and this angle, and on the NATO as well, of course, because you've got the two pieces of material under the case. It sort of pops it up a little bit more. But here's your wrist shot, and yeah, what's it like to wear? It's quite heavy, but I quite like a bit of weight on my watches. I do want to feel like I have something on my wrist. I'm not a big fan of watches that are like mega light and you can't feel. I want to feel like I've got something on the wrist. So I'm, perfectly okay with the weight and having, just a weighty watch. So it feels great on the wrist. It's awesome to look at. I like the date and the date. It's got the cool little numbers on the inside of the dial. I think it's a super neat watch. I think videos and pictures don't quite do it justice. So the final note on this watch is I think they stopped making this model. They've got two new models out now, or a few different ones. I think one has got a yellow a yellow touch here on the dial up until the 15-minute mark, I believe, and then they've got a red version where the tip of the minute arrow, the minute hand as well, matches the color on the dial. They've also got rid of that center no, they've got rid of the sort of tracks around the center circle and the lines, and you just have sort of a more streamlined dial. It doesn't have the lines on it, and it doesn't have the train track looking marks on the dial. So that'll be the new one. Not particularly sold on it. I think I prefer this one. Well, obviously I do, hence why I got it. So yeah, that's it, guys. I mean, again, I'm not Watchbox or Watchfinder, whatever the channel is. I think they're brilliant, but yeah, not here to give you specs and details. I think there's plenty of that on YouTube. Just giving you my review of what it's like to live with and wear. Yeah, quite a big chunky watch. If you're into that, then this is gonna hit the spots. It's heavy, it's weighty, the bezel feels great. Tiny bit of play on my one. Again, I don't know if they all have that. And yeah, that's it, guys. That is all I have for you guys today, and yeah, maybe I'll see you on the next one.